Hello and welcome to the Enterprise on Enterprise TV. I am Olajumoke Alaode James. Well, now is one of those moments when we get to sit down with a choice personality and make a privileged entry into their space. My guest today is a lawyer who's been around for a while. His face is easily recognizable on TV and highly respected in legal circles. He's a social critic, political analyst, community leader, and highly sought after commentator on national issues. He's written several articles in various newspapers and is popularly referred to as the second senior advocate of the masses after the late Chief Gani Fawehinmi. Monday, Oyekachi Ubani, attorney at law and notary public. You're very welcome to the Enterprise.
Thank you, Olajumoke.
I'm amazing. I'm very grateful to God. How are you, sir? Good. So as a social critic and very recognizable on TV, you're one who has stood up for good governance for several years as a practicing lawyer. In fact, you started practicing law straight from your NYSC days in 1991, right? A product of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, where the law faculty there, is well acclaimed over the country, Nigeria, and somebody who we have respected from afar. As a lawyer who will stand up for the masses, the way Gani practiced law, not to make money, but just to defend, the masses. You have stood true to form for several years. The reason we interview, notable people like you on the Enterprise is to know what makes you tick. Why do you do what you do? Why are you so interested in what happens to the masses? I'll come back later to, just to buttress my point, why you stood, for instance, during the last elections to ensure that there was justice, in your state, and the elections went as they ought to. I'll come to, your views on politics and elections in a bit. But what makes you tick? Why do you do what you do, Barrister Ubani?
Thank you very much for having me in your program, and I'm very happy with this particular television, and I am praying for you to go places.
Amen.
One of the things that God wanted to do is that we interview the head of state of this country.
Amen.
This particular TV. It's a prayer point for me. Now, concerning why I do what I do, especially with public interest, I'm so much interested in the masses. I'm a product of a humble background. I know what it takes to be a poor person, and when you don't have a voice, and then you see that you have to have people that speak on your behalf, So from university, I made up my mind that when I graduate, I'm going to speak on behalf of the people for what Gani represent in the legal profession, because these are people that motivated me to go and read law. And so I didn't read law in order to come and amass wealth, live in the world and just exit the world without contributing my own development of mankind. So fighting for the cause of the common person has been my desire. As I speak to you now, I'm doing PhD in law in Babcock, and the area of specialization is public interest cases. And that's what I'm writing my thesis on. And I have written several articles on public interest matter. I've also fought those cases in court. If I tell you how many cases of public interest, there's so many. But what matters to me is that at the end, you raise consciousness. You make government to be accountable. You also enthrone good governance. Let people feel the presence of government, because the primary purpose of surrendering power to those few elites, who govern, is to make sure that our lives are better.
Very true.
If they don't do it, they don't have no reason being there. The issue of protection of our lives, the issue of welfare, the issue of good governance, the issue of being sensitive to our yearnings and aspirations should be their concern. And so if any government is not interested in that, they has no reason to
being there. True. Very true.
So the underlying point, things that actually push me to do these things, that because I feel that life should be better for everyone. You should eat 3 square meal a day. You should live in a very comfortable accommodation. You should sleep well. You should be happy because God Himself has created the world to make it a happy world. I've been to many countries in the world. There's only few continents I have not been to. I doubt whether there's any continent I've been, and I've seen lives being transformed by those in leadership. So why can't it happen here?
Very true.
They are not more resourceful than us. They don't have more money than us. So what is the issue? It's just the issue of leadership. So I feel that if anyone offers himself for leadership position here, then he owes the people responsibility of making their lives more comfortable. So that has been the underlying point, in what I do. And I can't rest and I can't sleep until things are better in this country. And I'm hoping for a country that all of us are proud of.
Okay. Yes. So I'm going to ask you this same question in a different way. Why? Yes. Because without mentioning their names, there are very several, defenders of the masses, right, who get appointed or elected into office and forget all of these good things that you have mentioned. In fact, there's a very notable Gani Fawemi mentee that all of us will say, Gani will be, turning around in his grave when he looks at this man, but they get into office, they, and we are so hopeful because we knew them when they were still, going to court every day defending the masses, and then we now start to wonder what happened. They just become a different set of people. Like, I used to be hungry, now I'm at the seat of power where they are saying just forget about these people, and you and I know that you become a little detached, particularly when you get into the seat of power. You are so far away from the masses that you no longer remember the hunger that was making you shout and defend the masses before. Why, as Barrister Ubani, with all of the influence, and affluence, if I may, that has come your way, why have you stayed true? I would like to know, so that we can encourage more young people to emulate you.
That's right.
The background, the upbringing that makes you stand, because now as legal advisor, in the National Assembly, one would say, you've reached the heights of maybe not your particular career, but political office as a legal personnel. What's that background, upbringing, training? I don't know if it is also, it may be religious, because for some of us it is religious.
Yes.
Upbringing that makes you stand out. So you are not only speaking for the masses when you're hungry, you're also still speaking for the masses, defending the rights of the masses, and ensuring that everybody around you does not go to bed hungry.
That's right.
Even after coming to this point in your career.
Yeah.
What makes you stand out?
God all the way.
Okay.
The God factor, I got born again before I entered into the university. Okay. I remained born again up to this point in time. And then God has always been that factor that I hold tenaciously to. He directs my path, and I believe in righteousness. Okay. I also believe that one day we'll give account of what we do here on earth, This is a temporary place, we're going to be here for just some time. Highest you can live here is 120 years if you can. But one day we will stand before God to stay here to answer and then stay with Him eternally. So I'm very cautious of what I do here in this temporary abode. I'm a stranger here because I know that we are heading towards a place, and that place is a place for those who are righteous, who have lived a very good life here on earth. So that actually, is the deciding factor for me in everything that I do, that I must do it right. That God is watching me, that God is observing me. And that is the reason why I try to be fair to every person. I don't want to be judgmental. Nobody is righteous. It's only God that is decent. But as much as possible, in personal relationship, either with wife or with children, with those that you work with neighbors, try and be fair. And as long as you maintain their fairness and fear of God in your life, you will have perfect relationship. The Bible says, owe no man anything other than love. So I owe everyone love, So that has been the factor behind in everything that I do.
Once you mentioned God,
yes.
There was no
long grammar.
Yes, because I always say that once we make love our religion, we will treat other people the way we want to be treated. It's unfortunate that there's some people who will also call God and pastors, you know, and eventually you hear the things they do behind doors and you wonder. But it is personal. You will never be able to judge anyone from the outside. So it is what we have within, the fear of God, if it truly exists within us, that will stand us out anywhere
Any day.
we find ourselves. But have you ever, even though you're born again, been afraid for your life, particularly with the work that you're doing in politics and electioneering in Nigeria?
Yes, that is a time people will call me and say, Mr. Ubani, are you not mindful of the fact that you can be
Assassinated?
Yes, you can be killed and all that. It happened during Jonathan's period. It was so serious. It happened even during Yaradua's time, when these people, the cabal, they was hiding the truth from Nigerians and kept, and I felt that was absolutely wrong, without even swearing in the vice president who was qualified to, in case of the medical issue that he had at that time. I was one of the person. I also spoke very, vocally during Obasanjo's era, when there was so much mismanagement of our resources and a time that Jonathan was not supposed to be made the president. I felt that power should go to North, since the South has held 8 years. But somebody said Jonathan should run. I was one of the critical voices, that was saying no. Let power go to North. After 8 years, it comes back to South. That's the right thing to do. But unfortunately, most of my colleagues, were, oh no, we shouldn't do the right thing. And we paid dearly for it, So the Northerners started, ended up staying more than 8 years, more than almost 12 years. So
some people argue that merit over geography or demography or ethnicity. Do you agree with them?
They are not realistic. They are not realistic. The point is this: we are not yet a united country. That is the point. We are not yet united. We'll come to that level where we begin to talk about merit over another thing. It's not as if the person you are picking from the region, the person shouldn't be qualified. No, that's not what I'm advocating. The person must be qualified. The person must have the desire for good governance.
So allocate it to the region and then go and look for the qualified people there.
Beautiful, so that we can, because if we don't, until we have this fairness in our system, where everyone is given a sense of belonging in governance at the highest level in this country will remain where it is. I'm just telling you this. It's not a cause. I'm very happy that people are beginning to realize that it's something that we should experiment and have it done. Let everyone feel, even in your family. A situation where everything you are bringing out is only one person in the family you are giving it to. No, you are making that other person look, that he's not a human being, he doesn't exist and all. It's not the right thing. Over the years in this country, from 1960 till date, we have not been able to get it right, in terms of leadership. During the military, we had issue. Now, under the civilian administration, they are now fine. You may argue about the electorate, you may argue also. But the point is that these cabals, after we fought the military and make the military to go back to the barracks, seize power. The wrong persons got so much money, and they have remained in power using the money and resources they have acquired from the state. It's not as if they work elsewhere in their personal enterprises and then made so much money with which they have brought into politics. No, most of the money they're using also from the system. And they're using it over the years to rotate themselves, and replicate themselves in power. And if care is not taken, they may remain for too long a time. So it behoves on the people to say, no, this is what we want. We want good governance. So you don't have the capacity, you don't have the you don't have the desire to do good in there, you're not going to be there. The day the people wake up from slumber and say enough is enough, Nigeria will be a country all of us are proud of. Young.
We love to complain, we love to point fingers, but when they say, oh yeah, come on the street, we have seen what happens on the streets.
That's right.
And the last experience in 2020, nobody's going to, put their head forward anymore.
It will get to a level where if the right things are not being done, the people will make sure that the right thing is done in this country. It's getting to that level. The consciousness is there. Keep on building. The consciousness is there.
Yeah.
But I think that those who are in government now, I'm close to them now, are beginning to also see, look, we have to do the right thing. A lot of measures have been taken concerning the issue of food prices. When somebody went to court and obtained a court order, the government now says we have to regulate prices. They are mulling the idea that we cannot allow prices to spiral, to the level it is. We have to do something about it. So it means that they are listening. They're also talking among themselves as a gentleman. We shouldn't allow a situation where there will be uprising of the people. We must address their needs.
Putting a tag on prices would help inflation.
No, what I'm saying is that there are factors you have to bring in terms of government. Say, look, we can do certain things. If we give people the opportunity to import things and pay lower import duty, if we put structures in place for those who are manufacturing to have some level of concessions, then you can now tell them your prices must be controlled because it is meant for the benefit of the people. So there's no way government can keep, you keep their hands at bay and say, no, we're not going to do anything. We're not going to take some measures and all that. Government must be involved in ensuring that conditions are very, very okay for prices of things to be lowered so that people can afford them. How can you buy a bag of rice? It is something thousand naira. It's crazy. How much is the salary we're earning? How can you now price AC that I wanted to buy in January? They told me 200 and something thousand. I want to go and buy it now in February. They told me it's now 400,000 naira.
Times 2.
Yes, it's madness. Now dollar is 1,600 and so. So it is madness. So there must be intervention by the government. Then we must begin to manufacture. Chumoke, we must begin to encourage manufacturers. If they tell you what they are passing through. I was in the National Assembly.
They say it's a chicken and egg.
Which one comes first?
That if we have constant electricity and people are not buying expensive diesel or petrol to manufacture, definitely there will be more people manufacturing. The reason we started importing things was the imported goods were cheaper than the ones manufactured here. When your cost of production is high already. So if the government is listening, why has it become almost impossible to provide 24 hours?
The point is that I have discovered the bureaucracy and the personal interest of the people who are running the government. I can assure you that most times they go abroad to ask for what can we do with our power situation. People over there have come with beautiful ideas. This is what you can do to get out of darkness in your country, because we have done it in other nations and they are total, there is light. Then those who are there will now begin to look for their personal thing they will gain. And those other guys have corporate image. Most of the things of corporate have rules and codes. Don't compromise, don't engage in corruption. Those corporate codes, they observe them in all these companies abroad. The moment they discover anything that is corruption, they cannot do business with you. Because over time, they have developed their corporate codes that they adhere to. And if there is any malfeasance on the part of the companies that are run, they are punished heavily in terms of penalty. So they're very careful when they're dealing with you, and you now begin to talk about how to enrich them in a corrupt manner. They can't get involved. A lot of companies are ready to come and do business in Nigeria, but what do our leaders tell them? When they go to negotiate these things, do you bring in some level of corruption? When they do, they notice that they will keep away from you because of the corporate image, because of corporate code and sanctions when discovered. And they have mechanism for discovery. You can't get away with those things over there. So what I'm trying to say is that getting light 24 hours in Nigeria is very feasible. It is not impossible. We have the resources. We have the kind of leaders that can agree. But the point is that personal interest comes in. That's why you and I have remained in darkness. As I speak to you, I know how much I spend on diesel every day, both home and office. Now that I have 3 homes, I know how much I spend on power. They can imagine when you are running a factory. You have to maintain your production line. And when you finish, somebody now tells you that the price it can't be low because of the cost of production. So the government have the right to do the right thing. But why they are not doing the right thing is something sometimes I find it difficult to understand.
They are not doing the right thing because the worst of us are leading the best of us, right? A lot of us stay out of politics because we have tagged Nigerian politics too dirty. I cannot be born again and go and join Nigerian politics. They will taint my image. They will damage my reputation. It's either you join them or you just stay out of politics.
If you don't beat them, you join.
So a lot of good people in quotes have left politics to the touts, to the thugs, to the political godchildren, of the cabal, But we will take a break, and when we come back, we will ask you personal questions. I love to find out what's happening in the family that is allowing you shine so much on the outside. Please stay with us. We're still on the Enterprise on Enterprise TV. We'll be right back. And you are welcome back to the Enterprise on Enterprise TV. And our guest today has been Barrister Monday Ubani. Now, you are the company secretary and director of 12 companies and counting. I mean, when I last counted, there were 12. You are a member of at least 20 associations, from the Nigerian Bar Association, honorary member of the Supreme Court, and, and you're still a family man, married with 4 children. How do you balance, being a mentor to your children and being a loving husband to your wife?
My children are almost grown now. I think I have only one now that is still in Nigeria.
Okay.
That's the last boy. He's in
So
secondary school.
you are part of the people taking our money to send your children abroad.
I'm not yet.
TBN governor said it's because of people like you that we do not have dollars in the economy.
Funny enough, CBN has not been useful to me in terms of yes. If I want to send them, I go to black market. So what is CBN doing for me? CBN has not done enough for me.
Oh my goodness.
My first son is a lawyer. He practiced with me here before he went to do his masters.
Oh, nice.
My second son is an engineer. He also stayed here in Nigeria a bit before going for his masters. So he's doing his masters now in UK, by His grace. My daughter is also doing masters. So the last boy is in secondary school, so he will be entering universities to study law by the grace of the Almighty. Nice. He wants to be a lawyer. He likes wearing tie and wearing suit and all that.
Does any of them like politics?
Yes. My first son, the lawyer is very much interested in politics. If not for the fact that he just went, that time for his masters. He wanted to come back to Nigeria for the last election. He was following all the happenings in the country. They are interested in what goes on in their country because it's their country. I keep making them feel that, look, whenever you finish, you have to come back here. And then let's be here in order to build a country for our children who are coming. Now, if you run away and everything is being done over there, they developed economy and all that, then we have nothing to contribute here. Then the country will remain the way it is. So they're interested in what is going on in the country. They read and they follow up. Obina is very much interested in politics. Even while working with me here and all that, he was always debating with the lawyers. Yeah. So he knows about politics. So I'm a family man.
What of Madam?
Madam, she's the one that introduced me to politics.
Yes.
There was this particular program in a radio being handled by 2 sisters in FM 101.5. It was my wife that was listening to that particular radio program whenever she's dropping the children in school that alerted me that there is this program you need to listen to. That's how I became a commentator on radio. And from there, the rest is history. She's very conscious. My wife studied mass comm, so she's very much interested in what goes on in Nigeria. So she's also a political juggernaut in terms of participation, discussion-wise. Not that she's practicing it, by probably vying for any office. I don't know whether she will vie for any office tomorrow, but for now, she's a participant in discussing Nigerian politics. Okay. So I balance my family.
Is your wife afraid? Or has she ever been? How,
Never.
How they used to lock up Ganifa, lock up Falano. You were also detained for 20 days.
Yes, 21 days. 21 days. 23 days, yes, by EFCC. That's correct.
And then the Court of Appeal eventually said they should pay you 12 million. Was that money ever paid?
I will collect that money. They are on appeal. They're on appeal. But I will collect my money. I regard it as assets in waiting.
But the crux of that question is, does Madam ever feel uncomfortable, with your being out there? You remember how bullets used to run through Dora Akuili's Gilly? So one spouse will be afraid. Please, You are not Nigeria's problem. Oh. Please don't let them kill you for me. Or
That's
she never been
right.
like that.
That was initial time. But over time, she has known my desire, my passion, and also has seen the sincerity in me that I'm not doing this for the sake of doing it, for my personal gain, but for everyone. And that's why nobody can even plan to kill me or do me any harm, because they will do a background check and they discover that nobody is pushing me, that I'm pushed, for the desire for everyone, including those who are big. Let me tell you that what I'm doing is recognized and even more or less tolerated by the elites. When I buried my dad, if you see the caliber of men and women that came for that burial, it gives me I'm not in any public office. Politicians that came for my father's burial gave me, some level of comfort that what I'm doing is something that majority of Nigerians, including the political elite, appreciate. When they see me in any travel in the plane or, they say, Ubani, we love what you are saying. You're always very balanced in your analysis. And we all need a country that is workable. So they appreciate what I'm doing. I did my birthday once, that was that 3 or 4 years ago in Sheraton. The kind of people that came also, the president himself uses there. The letter, the President Buhari wrote a personal letter with his hand, signed it, and sent to me appreciating my role in this country. The president of the country.
So regardless of
No,
the
so
culture,
yes.
regardless of the culture of corruption around us, people
Yes.
who stay true
Yes.
to reform
Yes.
are actually
They
appreciated
are
by
appreciated by everyone, including the political elites. Why am I even appreciated by somebody like Senator Akpabio? How did I even meet Senator Akpabio? Akpabio saw my views on national issues in television. He said, who's that man? They should go and bring me. That's how we became friends. That's the only politician I have as a friend, Senator Akpabio. Because I went to...
Do you tell him the truth?
I do.
Does he listen?
He listens. God knows this thing. I have spoken to him severally, and he feels that he's a man that has passion. God knows this thing. Akpabio is misrepresented. If you get to meet Akpabio as a man, he has passion for this country. He has passion for everyone. Akpabio's desire is to make everyone around him happy. Everyone in the country itself. And so that's why I became his friend. I went and saw what he did in Akwa Ibom. I don't know whether you've been there.
But it's an international hospital that
Apart
he has
from
never
that,
attended
no, the
himself.
point is that that international hospital is supposed to be put into use by the subsequent government that came in.
Okay.
He was almost on his way out
Okay.
when he completed it and all that. There is nothing wrong in putting something for your people. It's a different ball game that probably he has not attended. The point is that that interest.
No,
Go and look at the hotel. Go and look.
Ubani,
Yes, I
a
agree.
lot of politicians, do white
Yeah, elephant
projects.
project. But I don't
The
think.
bigger it is,
Yeah,
the bigger the corruption there is.
Beautiful. What I'm saying is that almost all his project, is it the stadium? Because let's not single out the hospital now. Let's look at the hotel.
Okay.
I don't know whether I've been to 4 Point in Ikotebene. In fact, many people, if you go there, you may not even get a space at times, one of the best hotels in the south, built by him before he left power too. There are so many other things. You don't have any flooding in Akwa Ibom. If you see what this man did in terms of the flooding the state, chinchatic.
Okay,
So I'm saying, with all the things he did,
yes,
that is the reason why I felt that this is a person that I should be able to support and encourage, and encourage others also to do likewise, whenever they are given power.
I don't
Yes.
want to divert us
Yes, that's
from
correct.
you.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even though
Yes.
politics is you,
Yeah.
politics is all of
Yeah,
us.
that's
But
right.
because you praise him so much, there's so many things about him that
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
That just keeps on
You read.
popping up.
You read. Yes.
Yes, like I mean, he has an unending EFCC case. And people think that at that time, senator, now senator, he used to be Labour leader, Oshomole,
Yes.
mentioned that once you join the APC, all your sins are forgiven.
Yes.
As the Senate president now, you ought to be independent, and not just independent,
Yes.
seem to be independent.
Independent, I agree with you.
The cap with the signal of the
Yes.
president,
Yes.
seeming like a
Yes.
rubber stamp, like whatever the president wants, you will do, you will align. Then you do not come across like you are for the people.
Yes, that is something that one has to agree that he has to look at. Because this issue of cap you mentioned, as I would not like a situation where my Senate president will wearing the cap that the president, because you are of a different are you following me?
Yes,
It could be you want to show support to the president in order for him to succeed, because every president, the truth of the matter, will want to have a Senate president that will always work with him for the interest of the people. I will want my Senate President, Senator Kwabio, to agree with the President as long as whatever policy that the President himself is rolling out is in the interest of the people. Okay. It's very important so he don't become antagonist, antagonistic to him and all his policies. He cannot have his bill passed for the interest of the people. So the extent of cooperation is that where the interest of the people comes in margins, then the President must be supported by the Senate President and the Speaker. Because if they don't cooperate in order to give the people good governance, there's going to be a problem. If you come there, let me just attack the president for attacking sake, so that Nigeria will be clapping for me. No, you have not fulfilled the reason why you are there. Right. We are there for the interest of the people. So I
be supported by all of us.
Yeah. So a good, like the president this morning mentioned that he has agreed with the governor. Let's look at the state of state police. Let's look at the issue of the poverty of the people, like reducing the prices of things and making sure that the grains are released to the people. If the Senate president said, the president, I'm supporting you in this because you are taking a policy that really affects the people. Is anything wrong with that? Yes, so I would want the president of the Senate to be sure that he gives the president support in order for him to succeed. But he must also draw the line that the independence of the Senate and the House must not be compromised. And I think that the president is looking towards that direction. And I want him to always look towards that direction. Thank you.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree absolutely with you.
Yes.
So the best lawyers are the ones who know where to find the law.
That's correct.
Yeah.
And it still remains the same. He has not changed.
But in Nigeria,
yes.
Is that the same?
Are you asking me?
Yes,
you are putting me in the witness box, eh?
Because you are one of the best lawyers.
And I have a right to remain silent? Because anything I say can be used against me in the court of law. Now, the position of things, seriously speaking, is that the best lawyer is one who knows where to find the law. And then if the judiciary, as it were, follows precedent. Precedent is, we have a rule of what called stare decisis. If a Supreme Court says this is what the law is, the lower courts are not allowed to depart. It makes the law to be steady, because law acts as social engineering, system in the country and in any country, in any society. It controls you, makes you to conform to rules and regulation. So if the Supreme Court says this is the law, the lower court are not supposed to depart, then you as a lawyer who have found the law should be able to say, my lord, this is what is decided concerning this matter. The facts are all similar and all that. So they are not supposed to. But where we have miscarriage of justice, we have layers of administration and courts that can also correct. The lower court can be wrong, the Court of Appeal corrects. If the Court of Appeal does not correct, you have a right to go to Supreme Court that finally makes that decision. They are human beings, no doubt, Jumo. It's important we understand that, because sometimes we have this posture that judges cannot, come. They are still, no, they can make mistakes. Okay. But the point is that when they do that, when they make that mistake, they should be very humble enough to admit that they have made a mistake and can correct it in subsequent cases, if given the opportunity. Yes.
So I really wanted to focus on your family.
Yes.
This segment too, so that we know the foundation that allows you to go outside to shine. But I keep on coming back to politics because you stand out, even though you're a successful family man, and we're very, we admire that about you. You stand out in your practice, of law, and in politics, your legal advice. And in fact, in the electioneering, the governor of Abia State today, a few of us will say, because one, the people voted for him.
That's right.
The rec ensured that, listen,
That's correct.
I know what I saw,
That's
what
right.
I counted.
That's right.
And then there were people like you who said, no, these figures must not change.
That's right.
Whatever is happening in all the other states, we will take it to Abuja. And you stood by it and defended it all the way.
Yes.
How do you feel seeing what Governor Alex Otti is today?
I'm so excited. I also felt that we should allow those in private enterprise to come into politics in order to contribute their potent. If you have management and resources, and be able to turn around personal enterprises, I see no reason why you cannot, depict, such posture when giving public office. Dr. Alex Otti has remained very consistent before he became the governor. If you remember that he won 2015 general election, but they rigged him out. 2019, He put up also a very strong fight and remained consistent in offering alternative ideas in governance. So 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I went to him in Lagos here. So I want to see him. That I think that he should be the best thing that can happen to Abia State, and that I'm going to support him in the next election. That's how that relationship started. I went to him. I went to his office. And so I have been fighting. I fought with Uchoga in 2014-15. I fought with Uchoga in 2019. We couldn't succeed. In 2014, the 15 election, we went up to Supreme Court in order to take power and make sure that somebody who understands governance, comes in. But it was not fortunate. We're not fortunate enough to have succeeded. So in 2023, I now feel that Dr. Alex has remained very consistent, that this is the man we should support. And I saw all his ideas, that if this man implement what he's been saying, then we will get out of shame as a state, because it got a stage that Abia was regarded as the joke of everyone. There was no governance for those 20-something years. Those guys had sway. Abia was like a village setting. The Omaya, the capital, was a village setting. There was no if you go to Aba, you weep. So yes, of center that can like the country, not even in the southeastern. So this man says, I'm going to do this. I will change that narrative. So who else would you believe than to give him that opportunity? So we did. I spent money. God knows this thing. I don't want to mention how much. I was there. Imagine leaving my practice in Lagos and stayed back for almost 2 or 3 months in order to ensure we change the history, the narratives of that state. And we did, because God himself supported us. I told Dr. Alex Oti when he came to my village and we were presenting him to the people of Ikuano, I say, heaven has acknowledged him. Earth has confirmed, and the people are saying Dr. Alex Oti is going to be the next governor of Abia. And God, heard our. So if we did all that and there was no support of the Almighty, we couldn't have succeeded. But the people were very, very resilient, and they were supportive. And that is what happened. You now see a man that has the mandate of the people. The day he won, Jumoke, I tell you that for 1 full month, Abians were still rejoicing.
They wanted to change it.
Yes, but the people, if they tried it, they would have seen a different state entirely. So they got the message.
So
and then when the matter,
all of us should learn from that situation is that when we want it,
we can get it, even at the country, even at the national level. Whatever we want in this country, it lies in the hands of the people. People can make up their mind and say, no, we must be resilient. We must be resolute. And when the people speak, the people in government should be able to say, shaking. The people are speaking. And that's why we must create that level of consciousness where tribe, religion should not divide us. Don't look at your brother who is from Hausa. He's an Hausa man, he's a Fulani man, he's a Yoruba man. No. I don't want that kind of thing to repeat. For what happened in 2023, where you say all the Igbos must leave and go back. No. It's something that is primitive. It's something that shouldn't be contemplated. Jumoke, it's not something we should be proud of. That you call out some people and say, leave. This is not your state. No, you don't do that. I will not like any Igbo man to tell a Yoruba man who is in the East voting a candidate of his choice, leave and go back. And then you now come up with a policy that now begin to target at those people. No.
Dr. Ubani. Some people call you Dr. Ubani.
Yes, I am. I'm a PhD holder honorary. Yes, I've gotten up to 2, but very soon in writing, in letters. It's a matter of time.
I really wanted to know what makes you tick. How do you relax? You go to the gym and all of that. But you see, the political stories you are telling us are very interesting. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll still be with Dr. Monday Ubani. Please stay with us. It's still The Enterprise on The Enterprise TV. You're still on The Enterprise on Enterprise TV, and we have been talking to Barrister Monday Ubani, former chair, Nigerian Bar Association, Ikeja chapter. And before we go into how Nigeria is today in terms of food inflation, insecurity and everything, I wanted to just quickly hop into what your wife said in an interview, that love, tolerance is why your marriage has stayed this long. So are you a very romantic man?
I don't know what you mean by being romantic, but my own understanding of being romantic is that what I'm in a position to provide for my wife, I should.
Okay.
What I should give her that she desires in terms of attention, and anything that she asks that I have the capacity, I must do it. And if I do it, I don't know what more you can
Can be
call
more
more
romantic.
romantic. I am not one of those that
Typical
can.
African
I'm
man.
not one of those that can kiss, that begin to kiss my wife,
In public.
on in public. And then me, I'm a shy person. So if it is what you define as romantic, by kissing her on the road, me, I no go fit.
No, but it was just Valentine's Day 2 days
Yes,
ago. So what
yes.
did you do, especially
What
for
I
your
did,
wife?
I was in Abuja. I just came back yesterday. Work,
Okay.
kept me in Abuja. But what I did was making sure that I send a gift,
Okay.
to her, please, that I'm coming back the following day, which I did, So I'm with her now.
Okay.
Every day is Valentine in my home, and the most important thing is showing love
Every
and
day.
showing tolerance and understanding. There is no perfect home. What makes your home perfect is understanding the basic responsibilities, that God has given to the man and to the woman. Bible says I must love her. Why would God ask me to love a woman that I've married? It shows that it is more than the ordinary love. Even when she's unlovable. There are times women can do certain things that make them unlovable. Bible says I should love. Then there are things that I will do that makes my commandment can be challenged. Bible says you must submit. You can call me later and say, honey, but look at it from this end. But at that time, I say, please listen to me. And when we understand why God gave those instructions, to man and woman, it will make you to appreciate, obeying God and then maintaining a very perfect home. I'm just telling you, perfect in the sense that you will tolerate one another and have some level of joy and happiness in your home. It's understanding each other is very important. We all have our differences. There's a book I read, about individual characteristics and all that, the manner, the behaviors, our makeup. So if you understand those that are very aggressive, there are those who are very a bit docile, there are those who are not as aggressive, but every character has its weakness and strength. So if you understand each other and you blend, you become perfect couple. There is no perfect.
So you're going to be 60 this July?
Yes.
Is Madam planning anything? Are we going to Sheraton Abuja?
Yes, the problem with my 60th birthday is that I am beginning to look at the economic situation in the country, and I say, look, can I really roll out the drums, in all fairness, when Nigerians are really in this? I will celebrate my 60th birthday, but I'm looking at it that if the economy does not improve, I have to be very careful in not making it too elaborate, just celebrating in a very
Do
peaceful
you think
manner.
that Nigerians are loud in that regard, that every milestone we must roll out the drums? Because you can still celebrate without it being loud.
Yes,
I think.
I think so too. 60 as a rally point, it's a milestone for you to be 60, and then you are healthy, and God has been very merciful from nowhere. God has brought you to some level in life and all that. So you need to be grateful to Him. I am grateful. I'm even trying to write a book
Okay.
that actually chronicles all my interventions
Would
on
that be your
nationalism.
60th book?
It will be my sister. That will be my first book. I've written so many articles, I've spoken on so many issues, but I've not written anything down. So this will be my first, in terms of a book. And it's been handled by two doctors.
Oh, nice.
Two of them, one is a lecturer in university in Abuja, another one is a lecturer in somewhere in Kogi. They are handling the book, They have been prodding me of us. They're supposed to come to Lagos to come and take more, information concerning me in the book itself and all that, So I believe, Chimoke,
Yes, sir.
that if God keeps us, we'll be able to celebrate it, And I want it to be, maybe you're going to be the MC of that particular,
That would be nice.
whether Abuja or Lagos. Yeah.
Okay. So, but you spoke about something that I would quickly like to pick on, which is that if the economy improves.
Yes.
In the last 8 months of this Tinubu government, things have gone from, like he promised us, from bad to worse. I think it was he made a slip when he was saying, when you give it, I think this happened in Now when you give anything to El Rufai, it makes it takes it from worst
to worst.
to worst.
It was a sleep.
But it was a sleep. But I mean, as at the time he came into office, a dollar was between 700. Is smiling on 1,600 and not stopping right now. Food inflation is at 29.9%, knocking on the door of 30%. You know, and our salaries have remained the same from the Buhari tenure to Tinubu tenure. So Nigerians have just generally become poorer.
Yes.
Right? And I always say that elections have consequences.
Yes.
That another president may have done it worse or done it better, but that when we refuse to choose or we choose based on stomach infrastructure, there will always be consequences.
Yes.
Do you believe, because you were very much obedient during the last elections, that if our president right now was Peter Obi, things will not be this bad? Because many people doubt that.
The point is that you will not in any way give a correct appraisal of any person who has not been there. If Buhari did not emerge as president at the time he did, and we gave him 8 years in order to better our lives, we would have been saying that the best thing that would have happened to the country is giving opportunity to Buhari.
True.
The same thing now with Peter Obi.
True.
It is when you put Peter Obi there, you can now be in a better position to assess, based on available vital resources that will be there for him to now fix Nigeria. Okay. Now it is President Bola Tinubu. He has done 8 months. And I will not in any way jump to conclusion that I will judge him that he has been a failure. But I think there are some steps he needs to take. Okay. And there are ones he has taken that I will consider wrong. One of the wrong steps he took was removal of subsidy without planning a strategy of how it should be handled that will not bring us to where we are. The second was removing the dollar,
so floating the dollar.
The dollar and all that, allowing, saying let one force, determine the no. There must be some level of government intervention now. He has also realized that some of the decisions he has taken has brought us to where we are. Now they are now planning, strategizing. What do we do for the way Naira is falling? What do we do to handle the inflationary rate that is, the way it's, going high every day? What do we do to handle it? What do we do on insecurity? That's why they are mulling the idea of state police. So the point is that when problems come, do you find solutions to them? So that mulling of the idea, let's begin to now to look. Let's look at it differently. To me, is what can bring solution. But I also heard him that things may get from bad to worse, but it's going to get better. Okay. He said it, and I feel that if practical steps are taken to address, because you have men you can bring into government. There is nothing wrong in bringing people like Pat to Tony, hearing them and say, what do we do? Yeah. Because this government of winner takes it all is something. No, there are many intelligent men and women here in this country we can bring in, so bring them in. Not the idea of putting away those bright minds. Let's, those who have won, let them be the one, yes.
Can we quickly delve deeper into it?
Yes.
Because once President Tinubu got into government, there was a particular, I think it was a Yoruba man he appointed as minister for something. And his Emiliokan people started shouting that, no, he didn't work, for you to get into office. We did the work. How can you? So is it a Nigerian problem where the problems ourselves? Because whoever becomes president, we ought to think of how to help that person garner the best resources Nigeria has, be them home or abroad, and say, oh yeah, come and help our economy, help us in agriculture, help security, and not care where the person is from, political party, religion, ethnicity, and just say we are solution driven. Wherever you find the technocrats and the expertise in Nigeria, that's what we should pursue. But then we are the APC caucus, we are the Milocon, we went to Turanchi to campaign for you. You did not give me anything, even though I'm not learned enough or skilled enough. It should be me that you are giving. I mean, the slogan is in Milocon anyway. Why are you calling Patutombi who worked for the opposition?
No, the point is that it's about when you win election, either at the state level or at the federal level, it's no longer issue of party thing. It is issue of how do I deliver and make sure that everyone is happy. So in choosing your men, you choose the best of them all that can help you to succeed. I told you I worked in Abia. Everyone was saying Ubani is going to be the next Attorney General of Abia State. But when the man was choosing, he chose a younger person whom he felt he can be able to help him as his Attorney General. I did not feel offended, despite whatever I think I did. I felt that this is people who can help him. The most important thing is delivering the dividends of democracy. And if he's making my state with the people he has chosen, I should support him. But how you do these things if I win election and people help me is that those critical areas that I need, those that can help me, I will put them. But I should not also forget those who worked. Okay. You don't forget them.
So you have to
there are so many. There are opportunities. It doesn't necessarily have to be a minister. You don't have to. Everyone will not be a minister. There are people who will be ministers, but there are board appointments, there are small contracts and all that to make them also to feel part of the system, because they help you to succeed. So what they're going to do is that don't go and put a wrong person or give somebody a job he cannot be able to do. There are areas you can say, okay, I have seen capacity here. Go and do this one. Go and handle this, but make sure you do it, because if you don't do it, it's going to affect us, and all that. So what I'm saying is that you must not neglect those also who help you to be in power. You must also, there are people you can, yes, you were there. We saw you, we saw all your effort. Be at the political party. Look at the man that is a senator, who was a spokesperson of the senator. He's the secretary of APC now. He was there, he worked. He didn't win the this and that. They gave him the secretary of the political party. So he's still there. Some of them can be chairman of political parties at the, So make sure that those, because election is coming in 4 years' time, they don't need a situation where when it comes to their constituency, you are still going to go and spend money. No, they will be there and say, this is our man. We don't need to come. We are going to deliver you. So what I'm trying to say is that you balance these things. Okay. You must balance them. Those who have helped you, make sure that there are things you can be able to. Don't neglect them. You reach out to them and say, everyone. And if they are very, very, very patient, everything will get to everyone. Okay. Are you following me? Yeah. So let them not be neglected. But not everyone is going to be a minister. Not everyone is going to be a board chairperson. Those that are competent in those decisions, bring them, whether they are of the same political party or not. I want to run with the best. And that is what some people are doing. You understand my advice? Okay. I'm not saying that they should be neglected, but you must not allow a situation where we carry all the mediocres to run government, because it will affect your government and it will affect people voting for you in the next 4 years.
I was going to also ask the question of how do we help, Nigerians in 2024? But this conversation has been too serious thus far. And I wanted it to be a little light.
Yes.
Because you seem like a very serious person from church, straight to your law firm. Then, look, put all these politicians how do you relax?
Yes. How do I relax? I read a lot. I like reading, and I like the social media now has taken over.
Okay.
Everyone now keeps himself busy. In fact, 90% of our lives we live it on, honestly, on social media. Everyone, including our wives.
I absolutely agree. So that our real lives now
is in physical life.
Real life is a distraction
from
our life on
social media. The 90% of our lives are live. So you read information is very key. There are things that are comedians there. These kids, right? That's the music that is reigning in the world. Now look at you. You're asking me again. American music is of it. Nigerians are the one.
Grammys, they didn't give us any award now. How well we're doing.
They have their concept of what the Grammy. They have their own concept of what makes a good music. We have concept of what makes good music in Africa. So I love Nigerian musicians. I relax. I have time.
Who's your best skit maker?
Who impresses me, who of them now? This boy, you are not doing bad. You are doing.
You are doing well.
You are doing well. Jumoke, you are doing well. And whenever you use that word, you are doing well. I know you are doing well. And it's only the problem is that it's only women that does well. For him.
You have not said 500,000.
1,000. I don't know how the guy, every time he's always very rich, and it's only women that and they end up disappointed. There's no one that have actually kept. No one has really actually agreed or giving him what he desires. That's very interesting.
Thank you
Yeah.
so very much, Barrister Ubani, for this conversation.
Thank you
That's
for
been an
giving me an
interesting one.
opportunity.
We'll have to do a part 2. Come back later. Maybe when the Tinubu government is 2 or 3 years old, and
we will now
have
take
you
a look.
appraise him properly. But what you're doing right now for Abia, for the National Assembly, as a lawyer, as a mentor in church, we're grateful.
Thank you.
And we thank you for gracing the Enterprise on
Really,
Enterprise
my
TV.
pleasure. I don't know whether I'm the first person to be interviewed by this television in this segment, but whatever it is, I am so happy to be part of you. Jumoke, I watch you on the television in TVC. You're very intelligent, and that's why I said, this face is it Jumoke? I was mistaken, I was making them until somebody said, that's Jumoke, your view. Thank you for the opportunity, and I think this has been a very beautiful conversation. And I would like to have a link wherever it is of this.
Yes, we will send it to you.
Thank you for the opportunity. God bless you. Bless the and of course my friend,
my able producer.
Producer. He has always been my pally. Who were we used to analyze news on radio.
He's very fantastic when it comes to research.
And that time he was always on the other side. They were attacking him, but they didn't know why. He was saying, "Look, this government, and all that." We didn't know.
Yes.
He is the man that saw tomorrow. We are, look. We need to be balanced, in whatever we do. And I'm happy today, that he has started something that is, big, it will take you guys somewhere. That's what it's a prayer point, Thank you for the opportunity. I thank the cameraman, thank all the cameramen. And thank you. You guys have done well, May God bless you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So on behalf of my camera crew, my producers, and every technician within the Enterprise TV crew, we say thank you for watching this episode of The Enterprise with Barrister Monday Oyekachi Ubani. And we will see you at the next edition. Please stay with us. Continue to follow us on all our social media platforms on Enterprise TV 7. See you next time. Bye for now.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.